I would be so afraid of my child if
Right?
that was the case.
Yeah.
You took all my eggs.
Born an asshole.
It's like it's like Dwight. He's like, I had a twin in the
I had
womb and I ate him.
Yes. No, exactly. Um. So I think last time Carlos and I wouldn't have talked about 21.2, but we already did that.
Mm-hmm.
It went well. I mean, how did it go for you?
I'm gonna stick with what I said last time, that I could do more fitness. It went okay.
Yeah.
The part that I thought was gonna be hard wasn't hard, and the part that I thought was gonna be easy was hard.
All right.
So that's not a great combination.
Yeah.
Because then the game plan that you had goes out the window.
Right.
So my game plan went out the window.
You thought the burpees were gonna be easy?
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be able to do the burpees, like the burpees.
Burpees.
The burpees at a pretty steady pace.
Mm-hmm.
And you were my witness that did not happen. I started taking breaks, and then I just decided that it would be better to crawl my way to 40 dumbbell snatches.
Yep.
Of the round of 50, for everybody out there that knows what that means.
Yeah.
I got to 40 dumbbell snatches in the round of 50. I wanted to at least make it to the burpees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the plan. Just the
Yeah,
last round of burpees.
I wanted it to at least tie with Patrick and Rox.
Oh, did they make it there?
They got into six burpees.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's so far, the only open workout that I've finished.
Like ever?
Well, anyone that's been time capped like that.
Mm.
Yeah, because we had a few last year that were like just work for 20 minutes type of thing, but nothing that was time capped like this. So, yeah, this is the first time that there was a time cap in an open workout that I finished.
Yeah.
So, that felt good.
Yeah. You did really good on it.
Snatches and burpees.
Mm-hmm.
Felt gross. Wanted to throw up more than once.
Plus revenge.
Yeah. Plus revenge. Sweet, sweet revenge.
I mean, it's not revenge, but...
No.
Anger, maybe.
Unyielding rage.
Unyielding rage.
And then we've got 21.3. I would rather it be called A and B, but we've got 21.3 and 21.4.
Why does it matter?
Well, it doesn't matter. I just feel like that makes more sense.
I don't. I think that the distinction of being 21.3 and 21.4 is to say that they're two separate scores and not something that builds upon each other.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's just the fact that they have to be done together, though.
I mean, he did that on purpose.
Yeah. I have a feeling that I'm just going to lose a bar on going into that hang clean.
I think you just need to practice catching your bar for a second.
Yeah. But
I'm not saying it'll be easy, and I'm not saying you'll, like, conquer it in 2 seconds, but if you can just figure out how to shove the bar into your hips and push it against yourself for a second, you'll be much better off, as opposed to everybody that was trying to, like, catch it on their thighs and bounce it, because they didn't know it. Is it Scott?
Yeah, Scott Panchek.
So Scott was just going into a power position, and they had no idea what that was. I doubt any of them have ever practiced power position cleans.
Yeah.
Whereas he knew exactly what he was doing, and he was controlling it into his hips and then driving straight back up.
I can't believe he did that with 295 pounds.
I can.
It's stupid.
It is stupid, though.
But yeah, I mean, the grip's going to be blown up already from all of the toes to bar and chest to bar and muscle ups.
Mm-hmm.
So then having to catch, hopefully, 190, maybe 200 pound barbell and then go again is going to be tough.
Yeah. I mean, for everybody else out there that wants a game plan for 21.3, if you can't make it to the 15-minute line,
just go. Just be slow.
Be real chillax about it. Because I can't do chest to bar pull-ups.
Yeah.
I'll maybe try to do one, but I'm going to take my sweet ass time to get to that one chest to bar pull up.
Yeah.
I'm going to be rolling in at that chest to bar pull up around 14 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd say get to whatever the wherever the tie break time is on the scorecard, get to that as fast as you can, and then it just doesn't matter because you're not going to finish.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I hadn't thought of it. The tie break time is probably going to be the rounds.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so just finish that first round as quick as you can.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't matter after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's going to hurt. The front squats are going to be nothing except for annoying for the complex in 21.4.
I don't even think they'll be that annoying to me. I mean, they will be annoying, but like unless I really... I'd have to look at the scorecards, but like unless I really wanted to go like crazy ham
on that first round.
I do sets of 5 at that weight all the time.
Yeah.
As like a warm up for my cleans. So
right. Yeah.
I don't think it would demolish me by any means.
I mean, 95 pounds is my front squat's somewhere around 250, so I don't know that percentage, but like
yeah,
it's pretty low.
When we did that Festivus workout, I did the 30 back squats at 85 unbroken. So
yeah. Yeah, so it shouldn't be awful. It's going to be annoying enough that you're going to have to take some time. Well, like you said, though, you might have plenty of time in between your last set of thrusters and before you're going to the bar again for 21.4.
Yeah, I mean, if the tiebreak time is after the first round, I'll go ham on the first round. And then I'll take
10 minutes to
do 5 or 15 front squats.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good times.
I'm going to have fun on the second part.
Yeah.
I'll get a PR on my hang clean.
Yeah. No, it's been, I mean, I feel like it's been a fun time of fitness. Last week was fun. I thought it hurt a lot, but like it was fun. And we celebrated after, and I felt really good about my score until I saw how many other really, really fit people are my age. And I didn't feel as good about my score, but, you know, it's all good.
Yeah, but I mean, I just want to remind you that you don't work out super regularly, and you did a bodybuilding session for an entire month.
Yeah, still.
So I would say being in like even the high 80th percentile for not really working out regularly and like stuffing your face full of food so that you're 8 pounds heavier, like that's pretty impressive. Most people don't add 8 pounds and stay at the same percentile.
That's true. No, I mean, it felt good. Fitness is good. Fitness is good right now. Guess what, though?
What? Really
quickly, just with no transition at all, going into, for the first time in about a year, Lord of the Rings on Amazon actually posted something on social media.
Oh.
I know, right?
What'd they post?
They just posted a picture of, like, what are those, like the director boards, the little clip, like, you know? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the action
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it has a name.
Probably.
I feel like I knew this as a child.
It's a board. Something board.
No, it's not.
It is.
I really want to look it up, but you told me that my phone interferes with this.
It does. Only if you hold it like right next to it, though. Not
so if I hold it like I'm a grandma, I'll be fine?
That's probably fine. Anyway, it was just that in the sand in New Zealand. That's it. But at least they posted something. Oh, yep, I can hear it.
Now you can hear it, damn it. Clapper board.
There you go.
Why do they click that board thing before filming a movie scene?
So anyway, it was just that in the sand, but it was reposted by all of the actors, like on their Instagram, like just that same one. And then I feel like they're like, Amazon is kind of loosening the, what they're allowing, because then a bunch of the actors also posted them with their copy of The Silmarillion, which I'm guessing like the producers of the show basically said, hey, you should probably read this.
So is it, I was going to say, is it like based on Silmarillion, but I think you already told me it was. And then...
Yeah. Second Age.
Who's playing who?
No idea.
Like, you don't know who anybody is, or you just don't know the actors?
I know who all the actors... Well, there's a big list of all the actors, and there's some of the actors that I know. Most of them I don't know who they are, but it doesn't say who they're playing at all yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I think I told you one of the actors is Abraham Lincoln from Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunters.
Probably did.
So I'm excited about that because that guy's awesome.
I just remember big ears.
Big ears?
But that's not necessarily the actor. That's just Abraham Lincoln. I just can't.
Yeah.
In my head, all I see is big ears.
He was on a sitcom recently that you and I watched, but I can't remember what. He was like a boyfriend on it.
Was it the one with the girl that's in London that meets that guy, and then it's like her best friend's fiance at the airport?
I don't know. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, he was on a TV show recently. But doesn't matter. Anyway, I like him. So he's one of the only ones that I actually know out of all the actors. There's some people that were on, there are a few actors that were on Game of Thrones that are going to be on it, and a few other people, but for the most part, I don't know who they are. Yeah. But they're all posting, like, look at us reading the Silmarillion. But for a long time, nobody was posting anything. So I feel like Amazon's finally allowing them to kind of get out there a little bit more.
Well, maybe they've all finally been able to go to New Zealand again.
Yeah, that could be.
Maybe they've all gotten vaccinated.
Yeah, also yes. Hopefully, I mean, Bezos has enough money, right? He can just buy vaccinations for all of them. Isn't that how that works?
Oh, yeah. I guess it is Jeff Bezos that's in charge of that, huh?
Yeah.
God.
I know. He's in charge of everything.
Every time I hear that name, I just think about that guy, like, counting out the grains of rice.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I just bought a $3 million house. I didn't even notice.
It's funny because this is, like, as a kid in the 80s and 90s, it's what I think of. But, like, anytime anybody has that type of money, I always say, like, that's Scrooge McDuck money. Like, Scrooge McDuck has that whole, like, basement that he just jumps into and he swims in his gold. Like, that's what I think of.
Oh, I don't think I watched DuckTales that long.
Yeah.
Or was that a different show?
I don't know.
No, that was the Mighty Ducks that I'm thinking of.
Oh.
The ones where they were hockey players?
Those are Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, chunky ducks.
Yep. That was the one. But the cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
They didn't try to make that real life.
Well, there were real life movies was the thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. No, I'm talking about the ducks.
They're actually making a third or a fourth Mighty Ducks.
Nobody cares about hockey.
I don't know. Everybody loves these whole, like, nostalgic remakes that people are doing right now.
What other nostalgic remakes are there?
They're making another Space Jam.
I think I knew that.
I don't know. There's been a few that have been up that they're doing.
I need an eye patch.
An eye patch?
Yeah, it makes me really crazy that I can only see out of this eye.
You can only see me out of the one eye?
I literally only see my microphone out of my left eye. It makes me really crazy.
To the people, you're still just ethereal voice of Ariel.
I am an ethereal voice. Also, yes, but I still have eyeballs.
Yeah. just you're like Fart on Rick and Morty, but with eyeballs.
Yeah, but also, what would you be looking at if I at least didn't have eyeballs?
I don't know.
I feel like you need to be, like, looking up or something.
Or instead looking straight into the camera like a real weirdo.
No, I don't know. I just feel like when you're, like, talking to nobody and you're talking to somebody, you kind of just, like, stare at a wall and talk. You know?
Yeah, that's true. All right, we're going to get into this. So, you and I haven't done a history one for a very long time.
It's because I think history is boring. Should have got Carlos for this one.
I'm actually trying to remember the last time you and I did one that was history.
I think technically Feyenoord was a dick.
No, but that wasn't history. That was Feyenoord as a dick.
I thought that one was a history.
Mm-mm. The history one started after that. I think history number 1 was the only one that you and I did, where actually it was the Anilindale, where it talked about like the singing into existence and all of that?
Oh, yeah, I drew a picture.
You did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All the other ones have been character profiles.
Yeah, because those are more interesting.
All right, so where we left off with Carlos is all elves who wanted to go to Valinor are now there. Well, more or less. What's up?
I'm just checking if I even know, like, the history up to this point.
So, I mean, you do too. I mean, you've listened to me enough times talk about it, but the elves are born, right?
Mm-hmm.
They capture Melkor and take him over to their land.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, "Hey, elves, do you want to come over where we just took the bad guy?"
Okay.
And some of the elves say yes, and some of the elves say no.
Got it. Okay.
That was a quick wrap up. That was like I've made 6 podcasts about this. That was that quick.
I follow. I know where we are now.
All right. So on this one though, I do have a bunch of notes that I was gonna read off my computer, but then I realized the computer's over here and it's not gonna work because my computer doesn't like to work when anything else is running. So I also have the notes on my phone. So I'm gonna have to kind of go back and forth and talk about it. But basically, the elves get to Valinor, right? But really, it's just the Vanyar and the Noldor still. So the Vanyar and the Noldor get there, and they make this city.
The Vanyar and the Noldor are the houses of elves?
The families, yeah. So you've got
Okay.
the Vanyar, the Noldor, and the
Starts with a T.
Teleri. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Aw. And the Teleri. So Teleri are actually any of them that ended up all the way over there are still on Tol Eressëa, which is the Lonely Island.
Sure.
They haven't made it all the way to...
Do they make shanties there?
No. Not a single one.
I'm shaking my head.
Yeah. So the Vanyar and the Noldor, they're best buddies. And they're like, hey, so we're going to build a city. So they build a city called Tirion. And it's on
Isn't that somebody's name?
In Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. What's his name? Totally stole it.
Yeah, right? He stole a lot of shit. So they made a city called Tirion. And it is on a hill named Tuna.
Oh.
So to bring in like the old English, he actually calls it Tirion upon Tuna.
I feel like that would be like the word for orgasm in Elvish.
Tuna?
Tuna.
Only when you say it like that.
Can you imagine
it's
what's her name saying that?
Shit, what's her name? Liv Tyler?
Yeah.
So they make Tirion upon Tuna. And there you've got Ingwe, who is still the king of all elves, right?
Okay.
But Finwe also lives there. And Finwe is in charge of the Noldor. Right? We're good?
I accept this.
You got Ingwe, Finwe, Olwe, and Elwë. Yeah.
Time for Teletubbies. I'm not going to remember those.
So Elwë turned into Thingol, or as we know him as is Thingol. He's the one that marries Melian. We go over this a lot when you and I talk.
Okay, she's the one that's the...
She's the Maya.
Yeah.
Yep. So this part's pretty important. So they build the city, right? But they're outside of like Lorien. They're not in Valmar, which is the actual city. So Valinor is the like land itself. It's Aman, right? Valmar is the city of the gods, essentially, right? And then around there in those areas, that's where Lorien is, all of that stuff. So the garden. And they don't live there. They live outside of there because they still want to be relatively close to... was that you trying to look at me without looking at the microphone?
No, No, it was me not sure if I was going to burp and then...
Oh, all right. Gotcha.
I don't know. I have weird gaseous things happening in me.
So, they still wanted to be, like, close enough to the stars. They wanted to see the stars. They loved the stars. They were born under the stars. All that fun stuff, right? But the trees are really fucking bright.
Okay.
And so they had to be outside of where the trees were and closer to the gap in the mountains to be able to see the stars. So that's where they built their city. But they still liked the trees. So Yavanna, being the kind tree building person that she is, actually made them a tree. Now, it wasn't one that gave off its own light, but it was like a white tree. And so she gave them the tree Galathilion.
Are you saying like with an F or a TH?
TH, Galathilion.
Galathilion.
Who was made, right? Who is made of the likeness of Telperion, but doesn't give off its own light. Now the importance...
Is that the moon?
Telperion, yes.
Okay.
Now the importance of this tree is that its offspring is Nimloth, which was the white tree in Numenor, which then had offspring that became the white tree of Gondor, which we all know and love from The Lord of the Rings.
These offspring are just like seeds being spread, right?
Well, it's more like cuttings. So like olive trees, how you can take like a cutting of it and plant it and tend it and it will become a tree.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah, so it's more like that. They're like cuttings of the tree.
Plants are so weird.
Plants are weird. I agree with that statement.
Every time that happens, I'm like, do you not have souls? I don't get it.
So they're living there. Now this is where we're gonna get into a lot of names. There's a lot of names that are gonna happen. I will not
commit any of them to memory.
Yeah, but it's gonna happen anyway.
I feel like Tolkien has too much in his brain.
Had?
Yes.
I mean, you said has.
Well, it doesn't even matter. My point is that I cannot imagine naming the trees in my story.
Right?
The trees are largely insignificant except for the two that become the sun and the moon. Mm-hmm. So, what an outrageous man.
Yeah. Had a lot in his brain. Created worlds and shit.
I just don't understand how he had time to have, like, a wife or children.
Yeah. Lots of kids.
How many kids did he have?
I think he only had 4.
That's still a lot.
Yeah. So, through this whole thing, though, they're building their city. They got a nice new tree from Yavanna. She's like, hey, what up, guys? New tree. And they're like, sweet, thanks. Right? And then, and all this time, the Teleri are still on Tola Eressëa. And they're like, yeah, you know, we're actually pretty cool out here. Like, I don't need to be there. We're good. And Alsay likes him there because Alsay's a little bitch and doesn't like to go to Valinor because, I don't know, he just doesn't like him there. He's one of the water gods, or Mayas. But he doesn't like going towards land, same as Olmo. But anyway, they're there, and finally, the elves, like, keep going to, like, Manwë and Varda and all these people, and they're like, hey, like, we really want our other elf buddies to be here too. Can you bring them over? And so finally, Olmo was convinced to go out there. He told Alsay to go and teach the Teleri how to make boats. So, really bad idea. If you know what's going to happen.
So
but,
is this guy the Maya of water?
Alsay is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's going to teach them how to make boats?
Yeah, so he teaches them how to make boats. And then he takes swans and other like seabirds, seagulls and stuff like that. And they took them and he was like, here's your boats. I don't know if he just didn't teach them how to make sails or if this was just an easier way to do it, but they build boats and then they tie themselves to, or the boats to the seabirds, and the seabirds take them over there.
That's not a good way.
Right? But, you know, it's mythology, so that's how it happened. So once they're there, though, that's when they build Aqualande. So they've got these really, really pretty ships that Osei taught them how to make, and they now live in Aqualande. Anybody who has listened to Feyenoord as a dick knows why this was a bad idea. But going past that, they don't know anything yet, and it just is. They're happy that they're there now, but they stay on the shore the entire time. They never build anything inside because they still love the sea, and they like the stars too much. So they don't really care to be that close to the trees.
I just feel like elves are semi-narrow-minded in that they just love the stars too much.
Yeah, they are. I mean, yeah, I feel that. It's Varda's fault.
The one that made them?
Mm-hmm. So...
I mean, he didn't know what time they were going to wake up.
It's true. That's true. It's a good point. So
but also, who gets so obsessed with whatever the environment is, like, when you woke up? That's just the weirdest thing to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. So now you've got, so we talked, Carlos and I talked a little bit about the fact that the Vanyar Elves are super boring. And you almost never hear from them again. So that's Ingwe's people. And it's because, honestly, it's just because they're assholes. Like, they're
boring assholes?
Yeah, and they're pretentious as hell. So, like, here it is. They woke up in a perfect, beautiful Middle-earth place, right?
Okay.
And it looked amazing, and they were under the stars, and it was beautiful and all that stuff, okay? Mm-hmm. And then Orome comes over, and he's like, hey, follow me. I'm going to take you to a better place. Sure. And they get there, and they're like, oh, my God, this place is way better. Fuck that perfect place that we were at, or what we thought was perfect. This is way better. And now that they've built their city, their Tirion upon Tuna, they have now decided, yeah, no, fuck this place, too. We're going to go live in the city of the gods. So now they actually live and dwell with Manwe and Varda.
And they were just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they wanted them there. So Manwe loves them. Like, he calls them the, what was it? Not the Light Elves, but something like that. Basically, he loves them because they're boring as hell. They're as boring as Manwe is.
They're boring assholes?
Yeah. And so they move and they leave Finwe at Tirion. Now, going back into names here. Finwe, at this time in the Blessed Realm, right, Eldamar, he marries Miriel. Now, Miriel was a Noldor, just like Finwe was. But he marries Miriel, and soon after, she gives birth to Cura Finwe, or, as she calls him when she gives birth to him, Feyenoord.
Feyenoord the dick.
And so his original name, given by his father, is Cura Finwe.
Can I just say that I think that she was destined to have a dick baby?
Why is that?
Because I don't think that you should ever combine an M with an L at the end of the name.
Miriel?
Yeah, I think that's like the grossest name. Even though it's like half of my name. I just don't like the M at the beginning. It really doesn't roll off the tongue well.
I feel you. So she gives birth to Feyenoord. She calls him Feyenoord, which means spirit of fire. And then she says to her husband,
flaming asshole.
She says to her husband, I cannot have kids after that.
Because?
She said, all of the spirit that was within me that could have borne many children went into this child. Yeah, right?
I would be so afraid of my child if
Right?
that was the case.
Yeah.
You took all my eggs.
Born an asshole.
It's like it's like Dwight. He's like, I had a twin in the womb and I ate him.
Yes. No, exactly. And so Feanor's born. Muriel is like, I can't live anymore.
I can't live anymore, and I can't have children anymore because of this.
And Finway's like, what do you mean? Like, we're still pretty young.
I thought he had brothers though.
He's like, yeah. So Finway's like, no, why? Like you'll be fine. This is Eldamar. You'll be able to be healed here. So he takes her to Lorien, the Gardens of Lorien, right? Okay. And he lays her there, and he's like, heal, rest, be, all these things. And the tenders of the garden, all of the Maya that help out in the garden, were tending her body, right? And for a little while, she held on. But very quickly after, she gave up her spirit, and it went to the halls of Mandos. And the body was still, like, never decayed or anything like that, but her spirit was gone. So, yeah, she was like dead.
Snow White. Basically,
yeah. But she was dead, essentially. As dead as an elf can get in Valinor. So that, like, broke Finway's heart. And Feyenoord basically grew up like, fuck everybody else. I don't need everybody else. It's just me and my dad anyway. And then...
So she made him an even bigger monster?
Yeah, right? And
she's like the mom on The Last Road or whatever that thing is called.
The Road?
The Road? Is
that what
it is?
Yeah, The Road. Why is she like her?
I don't know, because she would rather give up than keep fighting.
Oh.
When her child's life is on the line.
Yeah, she definitely did. She definitely did that. Who played? Was that Charlize Theron?
That was Charlize Theron.
Yeah, it was. God, that's a depressing movie.
Yeah, so is the story.
So anyway, so Muriel dies. Finway's brokenhearted. Feanor's an asshole, right?
Yeah, from the get-go.
Right out the gate. He went to the Vanyar, and he was like, hey, what up, Ingwe? And Ingwe's like, hey, what up, Finway? And then Finway was like, you got, like, a hot cousin, right? And he was like, yeah, her name's Indis. And he's like, awesome. And so Finway then remarries, and he marries Indis. And Fëanor was super not having that shit.
Of course not. He's an asshole.
He was full on, you're not my real mom.
She didn't try to be asshole.
And so Fëanor basically, like, at that point, didn't really live anywhere for very long. He didn't live with his father that often anymore. He was kind of back and forth. He was mostly being, like, creepy Fëanor in his basement apartment, playing with crystals and shit.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do elves age, like, as fast as men to a certain point?
I mean, so I think we talked about this when we were talking about Galadriel.
Maybe.
But, like, it never specifies. My thought is that they probably age up until, their 30s at a relatively regular pace. And then that's just what they look like from there on out.
Evolution says no, but sure.
I don't know what that means. They're magic. Your evolution is nothing to them.
I know, but if you're going to base it off of whatever, never mind.
Yeah. Nope, nothing to base it off of. It's a mythology.
Whatever.
So they are Fëanor, this part's actually pretty important because this is when he is spending a lot of his time on his own. And so he creates jewels. Now, the first ones that he creates, they can't give off light of their own accord. But he can create these jewels that if you put them under like moonlight or starlight or anything like that, they'll shine certain ways. So if you do certain things to them, they'll glow and shine certain ways based off of the light around them. So he's already kind of dabbling with this whole idea of like Silmarils, right?
He's not the one that makes them, though, right?
Yeah, he is. He makes the Silmarils.
Why don't I remember that?
I don't know. But so he's dabbling in this during that time, right? And Aule really likes the Noldor. So Manwë and Varda love the Vanyar, but Aule really likes the Noldor because the Noldor want to, like, a lot of the Noldor are very similar to Feyenoord. Not in the asshole department, but in the fact that they always want to, like, learn. They really like learning, and they like doing things with their hands and stuff like that. So Aule is teaching them a lot, which means Feyenoord is learning a lot from Aule. Now, during this time, he gets two stepbrothers, right?
Yeah.
People that he hates, just like he hates his stepmom. And their names are Fingolfin and Finarfin.
I remember them.
Finwe, Fingolfin, Fenophen.
Because why not name all your kids almost the exact same name? It's not confusing at all.
Lots of F's. It's like Scott, Saxon, and Spencer.
Or Ariel, Amelia, and Alyssa.
Yep. There's a lot of that going around.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
So they come along and they do stick around at home, right? So they're still buds with Finwe and their mom Indus, and it's cool. But Fëanor is always out and about, and he's doing his thing, and he's learning weird shit, right? And so he one of the biggest problems with him too is that he never changed his ideas. He always thought he was right. So like
As most assholes do.
We see that later on in like how that falls in, and what a big part that comes in is that like no matter what, he sees that what he has done is right by him. I know, right?
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of that going around.
That's what we call sociopath.
So, oh no, my notes went away. He was like, he had redeeming qualities, but they weren't enough to like actually redeem him, right? He was super smart. He was smart enough that he actually devised an entirely new way of writing the Elvish language. And it's the way that they use now. The Elvish runes that they use, like in all of Lord of the Rings movies, was more or less, well, I wouldn't say created by, but perfected by Fëanor, because there was another elf, Rumil, who actually came up with writing language. But Fëanor perfected it, as well as doing all the things that he did with stones and all of that other stuff. He was a smart guy, but that doesn't help you when you're a gigantic asshole who's selfish and only thinks of themselves, right? So he learned a lot of skills from Aule. Now at this point, we get to talk about the fun fact that, remember that they're on this land where their enemy is. Now, Melkor has been in the halls of Mandos. He hasn't been able to go out, so he has no idea what's going on in the world outside, right? His prison term is up. It's been 3 ages at around this time.
What is an age?
Yeah. In the Ring of Melkor, it's a little bit more specific about what an age is, but honestly, I can't remember. I think it's around 1,000 years.
Okay.
So he's been in there for around 3,000 years, let's say. And he comes out, and it's his turn to kind of be in court again. It's like a parole hearing, right?
Sure.
So Melkor shows up, and he sees not only like the gods living amazingly, but these puny elves, right? Living with the gods and at the feet of Manwë and all of this stuff. So Melkor, sues for peace. He says he's changed. All of that's fun stuff. While all the while, not only does he hate the gods, but now that the elves are there, he really hates the elves. Mm-hmm. Because one, he just doesn't like them. He's like, fuck you guys, you're too happy all the time. But also because he knows that he's only there because of the elves. The gods only came to fight him because of the awakening of the elves. Mm-hmm. So he knows he only ever got captured because these assholes decided to wake up and start ruining things.
They didn't decide nothing, Melkor.
I know.
Calm the fuck down.
And so, but he's like, yeah, no, we're cool. I'm better. So Manwë was like, okay.
Sociopaths.
Manwë was like, okay, I get you, brother. But you have to stay inside, like, the palace area. So you don't have to go back to Mandos, but you have to stay inside here, right? And so Melkor's like, awesome, I'll do that. It's great. In his heart, he's going, right? Because that's what evil villains do. Okay. And so he is actually, like, he's useful. And he's helpful to the people in Vanyar. Why do I keep saying that wrong? Anyway, Valinor, he's helpful to the people there. But like, Ulmo hates him.
Who's Ulmo?
He doesn't trust him. The god of the waters. And Tolkos is like, he just wants to fuck him up again. Because the whole reason why Tolkos even came down to Middle-earth was to beat up Melkor.
Right.
So he's not buying it. Neither of these two are buying it, right? But he's going around, he's helping everybody, and he's doing a really good job of showing how useful he is to the Noldor. Because he thinks, like, the Vanyar never really trusted him. Mm-hmm. So those elves were out of the question. He basically saw the Teleri as too weak to be useful, but the Noldor only ever wanted knowledge. And this is that reoccurring theme in Tolkien stuff where this idea of it's not great to have knowledge without wisdom. Right?
Okay.
So Melkor is very, very happy to impart a lot of knowledge, but not give understanding or wisdom behind that knowledge. Mm-hmm. And the Noldor are way too happy to take that and run with it. So this gets them into trouble. And at this point, Manwë sees that Melkor is helping everybody, and he's being nice, and he's helping the Noldor, and it's great, and it's awesome. So Manwë basically says, oh, he's cured. Because he doesn't know evil. So he doesn't understand lying, and he doesn't understand these things. Even though Ulmo and Tolkos are like, nah, this motherfucker can't be trusted. Manwë's like, no, obviously he's cured. Look, he's doing good things. You can't do good things and also be bad.
Wait, but so Manwë is seeing Melkor give all of this knowledge without wisdom. And his thought is, I can see that he's giving them knowledge without wisdom.
No, I can see that he's giving them knowledge. He doesn't have this mindset of knowledge without wisdom.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, is this idea of, is he thinking that Melkor is good because he doesn't realize that he's omitting important parts of whatever he's bestowing upon him? He just sees him doing a good deed.
Yeah. Yeah, because again...
But like, does he But I guess what I'm asking is he recognizing that he's only giving him half of the story and just thinking that he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart? Or is he not recognizing that he's only giving him half the story and he just thinks that he's helping?
My guess is that the omission doesn't even come to, like, Manwë's mind.
That he just sees helping.
Yeah. because like it talks about the fact that like essentially it, goes back to it over and over again that like Manwe doesn't understand bad.
Yeah, so it's like you have somebody that has a really high porch and they have stairs and they don't know how to use the stairs, so they don't know how to get the bottom of it, and you give them a ladder and they're like, this is how you can get to the bottom now.
Yeah.
Here's a way down, but it's not easier.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And so like Manwe is just seeing Melkor being good.
Okay.
And so in his mind 100% like you are either good or you are bad. You cannot be both. You can't do good and be bad. That's not something that can happen. So that's right. How Manwe's mind works. So essentially he's like, all right, man, you got free reign. Like you can leave, you can go anywhere you like because...
Why is he the end all say all? Why hasn't this become like a democracy yet?
Because this is how God pantheons always are.
That's dumb.
There's always a one like highest of gods.
Yeah, but they're always stupid.
Yeah, they're never smart.
They never listen to people.
And that's the biggest problem. Carlos and I talked about that last time, is this idea of, like, it's fine that, like, he doesn't know evil because he never veered from his part in the song and all of this stuff, because he's got people around him, like Tulkas and Olmo, that should give him the advice, and they try to, and Manwe is an idiot and says, nah, he's good.
Right, but there's always, like...
Because as long as you have people around you who do understand those things, then it's fine to be ignorant.
But it's not when you, like, not only don't listen to them, but you make choices without consulting them, and you don't care what they say anyways. What's the point of having somebody around you if you don't listen to them anyways?
Right. That's the problem that we're saying. Is like it's great because he has these people around him. However, he never listens to them and doesn't care what they say. So he's just like he's just bad at it. He's just bad at leading.
Okay.
He's a bad teacher. That's really it. So, you've got Melkor now. He's free reign, right? Feyenoord is one of the only Noldor that don't take any of his knowledge. Feyenoord doesn't take any of Melkor's knowledge because Feyenoord doesn't trust any of the Valar. Doesn't matter who you are, even if it's Melkor trying to help you with all this power and knowledge. He just doesn't like them. He believes, because he's Feyenoord and he's an asshole, he believes that he's better than even the Valar already, because he's creating things like gems that they've never seen before. So that's so Melkor is now free reign, all about the land.
He's a free range chicken.
Yeah, all about the land of Valinor. Now, during this time, Feyenoord gets married. Okay? So Feyenoord actually finds someone that doesn't mind his bitch-ass self.
Yeah, that was literally my first thought as well. Somebody didn't mind him?
Yeah, right? And her name is Nerdinel.
Nerdinel. She sounds like she wears glasses.
Now, Nerdinel was actually the daughter of a smith. So that's kind of how they met, right? Because... Feyenoord likes building things and stuff like that. So he's actually she was the daughter of a smith, and she was very much like Feyenoord in the fact that she was very smart, but she was nowhere near as pig-headed as he was. And she was able to, on occasion, kind of quail his idiocy, but not a whole lot, and not for very long. Now,
so did he like this girl, or is it like an arranged marriage?
No. He. I think. I mean, outside of himself and his, probably even more so than his sons, she was probably the person that he loved the most.
Okay.
But then she bore 7 sons.
Jesus.
I know, which is the most of any kids that we hear of any of these elves have.
But let's be honest, she's an elf, so her rebound.
Oh, I know, right?
Her baby body is probably like a week.
So,
she probably only carries a baby for like a week. Also,
their 7 sons. They've got like a hamster gestational period.
Yeah, I think it's more of a mouse. Hamsters are a little bit longer.
Oh, okay.
Anyways.
Right. So, the 7 sons are. Are you ready?
Are you going to tell me all their names?
Maedhros, Maglor, Celegorm. The reason why I'm going through all these names are all of these names moving forward. The entire line of Finwe is relatively important moving forward in the history. So all of these names are going to come back up again at some point.
Wait, do you mean Feyenoord?
No, Finwe.
I'm confused.
So Finwe is Feyenoord's dad.
Oh, okay.
So the entire line of Finwe, so including Fingolfin and Finarfin. Okay. I know, right? All right, so you've got...
I feel like that could be like a curse word for a Mormon. Finarfin.
So you've got Maedhros, Maglor, Celegorm, Caranthir, Curufin, Amrod, and Amras. Amrod and Amras, twins.
Yeah, why not make their names also very similar?
Caranthir.
Caranthir.
That one's the toughest one to say. Caranthir. Then, in this same time period, you've got Fingolfin, who had Fingon, Turgon, and Adriel. Now, Adriel was badass, and we don't get a whole lot about her. She's, outside of Galadriel, she's one of the only, elf maids that we hear about being kind of a warrior and a badass. Mm-hmm. Adriel never married, but she was normally, while most of the other, elf maids and stuff in this are written as weavers and, makers of tapestries and stories and stuff like that, she was a hunter. So she would go out with the hunting party with Feanor's sons and with Orome. Mm. And so she was actually she was a part of Orome and Tolkas's parties. So I really wish we got more about her, but the little bit that we do get, we get to know that she's pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. And she is Galadriel's aunt.
Oh, okay.
So then you've got Finarfin. Now, Finarfin was the one that was like, hey, the Teleri are back. So I'm going to head over to our good friend Olwe, who is the king of the Teleri, and I am going to say hey to his daughter. So Finarfin marries Eowyn, who was Olwe's daughter. Okay?
Who was always the daughter of what? Of who?
Olwe. So, Eowyn is the daughter of Olwe. Olwe is the king of the Teleri.
You need a whiteboard behind you with, where we are.
Right? So, Finarfin marries Eowyn. Now, they are the father and mother of Finrod, Orodreth, Angrod, Agnor, and Galadriel. So that's where that line, right? So that's where we have Galadriel is all three. She is part Vanyar and Noldor from her dad, and she's Teleri from her mom. So she's got all three of them.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not follow exactly where her blood came from.
That's fine. Like this. One like this.
You need another hand.
And then there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You get it now? And so all of these, the brothers of Finwe, or the sons of Finwe, now all have families, right? And all of these families exist in and around Tirion. Mm-hmm. And in this time where all of these families exist and they're growing and they're learning together and they're doing crazy things with gems and all this shit, Melkor is also abounding, right? So really that's kind of where we're going to leave this off, because the next portion of this, we're going to get into more of the creation of the Silmarils and the once more betrayal of Melkor. Or, as he is known from hereafter, Morgoth.
I forgot his name changed.
Yeah. Feyenoord changes it. Because that's a Feyenoord thing to do.
What a dick.
But yeah, that's pretty much the end of that history one. You just got to learn a bunch of names of really important elves.
Fangolfin.
See, there you go. You did it. All right.
I got one.
Well, that's going to be it, guys. That's going to be the history today. Be sure to check us out on YouTube and on Instagram. Go to the _Swolhirrim on Instagram, and rate us on iTunes, and go on, make comments on Instagram or on Anchor. Honestly, it's great just to have some interaction, because we are trying to do some giveaways, and if I don't have any interaction, I've got nobody to give anything away to. So hit us up, send us questions, tell us that we suck, tell us that we're good. Doesn't matter to me, as long as there is some interaction one way or the other. All right, guys, we'll see you later.
Goodbye.